I'm Johnny Garage Johnson, and this is Hardcore Garage. Welcome to Hardcore Garage. As soon as we do updates, we got issues. It's always one trucker to another, giving me grief, man. Shockwaves. Just did the update on Maui Wowie 2 days later. It was a Sunday morning, I think. I came out and she was dropped all the way down on one corner. And I was like, that's odd. I don't remember. I drank a little bit last night, but I don't remember just pulling it in and doing that. Tried to pump it up and I could hear the air just coming back out of it. So kind of strange. But anyway, when I got up that day and got moving around, I opened her up and pulled out this, which was super, super simple on these. It doesn't have a sway bar, so pop the upper ball joint, take the bolt off the bottom there, and 2 bolts off the bottom of here, and she falls right out pretty much. Not really fall, but you know. But anyway, if you haven't seen one of these Shockwaves, man, I'm going to give you guys a closer look just so you can check it out. They came out, I want to say, early 90s to mid 90s, and what it was a QA1 shock in the center. This piece, and if you look right here, there's a weird spot there, and there's even a Allen bolt there. So I assume the shock would disassemble and come completely out of there when you pull these apart. And then so it's a bag over top of a shock, which eliminated the need for an external shock. And these were supposed to be pretty much bolt-in. There was some trimming that did need to be done, but for the most part, it is a bolt-in application. You're not having to plate A-arms or anything like that. The issue, and it's kind of strange because there are no wear marks on this thing that I can see anywhere, but there is a little tear right here. You can see that, and with air in it, if we just push your finger over like that and just barely hold, it'll air all the way up and won't try to push your finger off or anything. So, and it was also really sticky. So we thought maybe somebody had screwed them up long ago, putting them in and tried to repair it, or I guess, they did repair it. It just lasted this long. I don't know, vulcanizing or something may have, so it's not that bad, but it is that bad, right? So anyway, I want you guys to be able to see this as opposed to, which we have options now, see? We've got the traditional bag mounts over here. And I don't know if I want to even call this traditional because now they make those flat ones. Some people like them a little bit better than these ones, but this was also considered basically a bolt-in application. These 2 bolts here bolt into the bottom of your control arm shock mount. I'll add a picture in there so you can see how that goes. 1 bolt here, so your bag. 1 bolt there. Bolt on the top of here. Upper cup has your spot for your fitting to come out and the airline to come out the side of the bag, and your bolt to go through where the shock would bolt at the top. I have a fully assembled one of these. Down here, I will show you. So here's what you end up with. Shock mount on the bottom, shock mount on the top. And basically, that is, I would say, pretty close to the same size. I mean, it's a little bit shorter than your coil spring, but it's the same diameter almost as a factory or a lowered coil. Maybe a little bit fatter, but that's what you're trying to mimic is factory suspension for the most part. Look how damn near identical in height. I would say they're pretty close in width too. So we have some options. I may try to throw a couple of these in. I didn't have the proper, this truck here has 1/4-inch lines. I didn't have the proper 90s that screw into the top of the bag. So I do have some of them ordered. I probably will just throw these in there just to see how easily they go in. We have a parade, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. And if I don't have the new ones here yet, which I'll explain that in a second, I would love to take that truck in the parade. So we may even just try to throw 1 in there and see what happens. Throw 1 in there and play with it and see if you can get it to equalize or figure out the difference in pressure for each side. If not, I can throw the other one in since I'll have experience from putting this one in. Pretty close to the same height. Obviously a lot more bag, so you're going to get more movement with the traditional style bag. Back to the original story. So Found that had a hole in it. These things had a million-mile warranty on them, I believe, something like that. Whenever they first came out, the company got sold. I don't know, 99, early 2000, somewhere around there. So now it's Fox owns the company, so they use Fox shocks, obviously, instead of the QA1. I messaged him online. The guy called me. His name was Jeremy, and we talked for a little while. He had never seen these, but they said that they assumed they could repair them for me to send them in. So I boxed it up, sent it in. A week later, or whatever it was, he calls me and he's like, "Man, I got bad news." He's like, "Well, the first thing is the shocks are bad, and we no longer deal with QA1. They're not built that way." I'm like, "That's fine. Don't put a shock in it, or don't worry about the shock. Leave the bad shock in it. It must have been bad already, and it wasn't affecting me that much." Second thing was, he said they just do not have this style. This bag isn't replaceable without this aluminum rings here. This is actually two pieces here. There's a seam right here that unbolts this top section, bottom section, and then you'd have your bag with aluminum piece on the top and the bottom. He said that isn't the way they do it anymore. Couldn't help me. He was super sorry. They would take a trade in, and he's like, he was so stoked to even be able to see something like this still, in use, that he said, because I told him, I said, I want to keep it as era-specific as possible. So I really don't want your guys' new stuff in there, So that's where the old style bags kind of came in. And he's like, "I understand." He said, "And because of that, I'll give you the trade-in value without you sending these old ones back in. Just you could keep those and hang them on your wall." I think it was like $200 value, $300, something like that. They give you for the old style if you upgrade to their cool guy or whatever it's called now. So I was like, "Man, I just really don't want to do that. Please send it back." He sent it back. In the meantime, I was online being a crybaby, and a buddy of mine got a hold of me and he said, "Hey man, look at this." And he has a set of these on his shelf from an old SEMA build that they took apart, and he was just saving them for when he wanted to build something with the Shockwaves or upgrade to their traditional bag mount. They got, they have control arms and all that stuff over there now. He was just going to use them as trade-in. He said, "But he'll send those to me. If I send mine to him, he'll use mine for trade-in, and I'll still have the era-specific Shockwave in here," which is cool. So we're hoping to go that route. If everything goes good, his air's up, I can do all that. We'll throw them back in if I get them in time. Send these to him whenever he decides on a new project. He'll have these to send in, and I won't feel so bad about upgrading or the fact that these aren't the originals, even though they really won't be the originals. They'll look exactly the same. Anyway, drama of owning too many trucks is basically what it is. I will show you a little bit when we start to tear this apart, and if we decide to throw one of these in there, just so you guys can see a little bit of how easy it is. And we've done that before. We've taken apart front ends. You've seen hydraulics. You've seen air ride, at least on the 64. Maybe this will be a little bit of the new thing for air ride on mini trucks for me. If you've never done it, then maybe we can learn together. All right, guys. Hope that was at least I hope that was at least a little bit informative and to kind of keep you updated on where I'm at. Also, we got some slime time updates. Oh, it's coming. He's been working it. I ain't gonna say anything more than that. Just know when I quit talking about it that we're getting close. Y'all take it easy. Have a fabulous weekend. Keep on trucking.